Ebony Sarah Louise Kelly. You are the infamous
Joe
Blackula.
Joe Blackula. I got juicy mouth in that.
Okay, I guess I got an idea. Goddammit, okay. Now, I got company.
Yes! I am company. I'm the company. You never say my name?
Oh! In my presence, the shirt, Ebony Sarah Louise Kelly.
Hey! I am excited to be here. I am the company. American Skin. My daughter told me to watch this movie.
Spoiler alert, this movie ends very sad.
Very sad.
Very sad.
Very
this movie
sad.
is sad from beginning to end. There's no saving grace about this story whatsoever. If you looking for that was a happy, no, there's no happy end. Directed by Nate Parker. Written by Nate Parker.
Love Nate Parker.
Now, Nate Parker has a reputation of writing movies that tells our stories, and his stories are not that flattering to white folks at all.
At all.
At all.
What was the movie with he
The Birth of a Nation.
The Birth of a Nation.
The Birth of a Nation.
And why don't we talk about what was the main character?
Nat Turner.
Why don't we talk about Nat Turner?
I don't know.
Why don't we talk about Nat Turner like we talk about Martin Luther King? Why?
Why would they want us to know about Nat Turner?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm so tired.
Dude, look at the conflict of Nat. That's a whole other demo. The dude,
Nat Turner, take one.
This dude was a preacher, and he realized at a certain point that they were using him to use the word of God to basically condition his slaves to be more passive.
And he knew the word, like he knew the word.
There was a scene where he reading the word and he looking at it like, man, I'm not doing nothing but conditioning my people to be better slaves. Man.
That dude, like, yeah, but anyway.
But sidebar, Nate Parker's wife is white.
That's more dope.
That's like, damn. Now imagine living in that house.
You know what? And she must know. Because one thing I learned, because white people are married to black people, don't mean they are for black people. They just love that man or woman that they're with. Don't mean they love us all. I could do a whole show on just that.
So the whole thing about, well, I got black friends.
Hell no. Hell no. And the fact that you gotta say that shit is what... Okay, anyway, back to the movie. And it's a Spike Lee presentation. See, you didn't know that. It's not a Spike Lee joint. It's a Spike Lee presentation because I heard that it took a long time for Nate Parker to get somebody to back him on this. Back to the movie.
Okay, so if I was to ask you to explain what the plot of this movie is, to unpack the plot, how would you unpack the plot?
Okay, so define the plot.
The plot is what the movie is actually about.
American Skin is about being able to express a feeling that you would normally be able to express in a normal situation, but having to put together a situation in order to show people how you really feel. And how it went down to the very end, that indescribable moment, as Link said, is the moment that he needed everybody to understand. That moment, unless you go through it, you won't understand.
Oh, wait. Sidebar. The main character's name is Lincoln Jefferson. Google just his whole rationale with those names because most of our last names or our slave names are carried from our former slave masters. So I thought that was just real heavy how he did that.
Back to the movie. This movie right here, I think I cried all through the movie. It was like a bad car crash. Like I couldn't take my eyes off of it, but I didn't want to keep watching it. The movie was about his son got shot by a white police officer who didn't hold his shit together because they're trained to go home. Whatever the hell that means. I've heard in the news some of the cops that are involved in these big shootings, a lot of times trainees are with them. They're training people to do exactly what is happening. Shoot to kill. And that's all he kept saying. We're trained to go home. The system is set up to, if you shoot a black kid and kill him, you go to the crib and wait for your superior officers to come. Superior officers to come. Like, what's that? Get your story together. Back to the movie. It was like this kid just wanted to capture the moments of a father grieving for his son.
It was a scene where it was something with a cousin or the...
Oh, no. So the sheriff, the black sheriff, see, that's the thing. The white officer kills the black kid. So they get the black sheriff to come to the black kid's mother's house to make peace. And her nephew, which was his cousin, he like, no, fuck that. He said, you lived your life, you old ass nigga. That's what he told him. And now you here here trying to contain a situation that y'all perpetuated. How you gonna contain somebody who's reacted to something you did because their force is stronger than yours? And that's how the nephew was. He had him on camera and he was like, no, y'all killed my cousin. And he had every right to be like he was because they was in her house. The whole reason why the sheriff came to the house was to ask to make peace. Can you please get in front of the cameras and tell the world to stop looting, stop tearing up the city? No, fuck that. And then it went to Omar, Link's brother. He said, they kill our black babies. Then they come and put the mother on the TV to say, now let's create peace. We don't want no war. But they want peaceful with us. And he was just like, no, fuck that. That's demonic as hell. That's horrible. I love that part when he did that. And he used that word diabolical. It made me look it up again. Like, damn, that's the system that we're in. If you notice, with a lot of our black babies who have died at the hands of a white police officer, it's always the mother or the father in the news saying, you know, we just want peace. And just like Link said to his ex-wife on the phone before it kicked off in the police station, she was like, honey, just come home, make peace, just come home to me. He was like, no, fuck that. Why are we the only ones that are expected to do things peacefully? He said when white people are crossed, they kill and they don't ask no questions and they don't have to have no permission, and nobody says shit about that. But black people, no, fuck that. As soon as we go and we want to fight or we want to retaliate against something that's happened to us, no, just be peaceful. No, it's a better way of doing that. No, fuck that. We, black people, are the only ones that is expected to do things in a peaceful manner. It's just like what the police officer killing the boy. He thought he was crossed because dude didn't put the phone down. He didn't put the phone down. He did not obey a command, so he shot him. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to put a disclaimer in here, and I know many people would not like this. At the end of the day, what Link was trying to explain to his son before he died was this. There is a system in place, and yes, you legally can respond to anybody attacking you, but the system ain't rigged for black people. So for us, unfortunately, we do have to follow the rules of this system and these people who are behind these rules to get home to our family, and then we gotta wait to fight it on the other end. So at the end of the day, what Link was trying to tell his son, just listen in a moment, come home to me, and then let us deal with it afterwards. And that's what happened. His son, he wanted to film. He didn't know if they was gonna shoot his father, so he wanted to keep his camera up, and that's what triggered everything that happened after that.
That was a spoiler.
Oh, we shouldn't say that. We shouldn't say that. I don't want to spoil the movie. I'm just saying. I really don't want to say that part. I just want to talk about is when anything happened in the news about black people, how long does it take for the media to control our narrative? They spend 5 seconds on it, and then they talk about something that's wrong with the person that was in the news, right? And then they, okay, now dig back to you with sports. The white media is controlling the black narrative all across the board, and I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I hate it when the narrative is controlled by white people and don't spend time on the situation at hand or talking about the good stuff. No, fuck that. But they never tell that side of the story. It's always he was in the street, he was gangbanging, he dropped out of school. It is time for us to control our own narratives. Did I ask a question? So what would you say?
I would say the movie is about a father whose son was killed by the police, and about how the father dealt with it. Okay, it's like a lot of us sit back and we come up with these certain scenarios, like how we would deal with it. Black people all the time, well, if I was in slavery, I wouldn't have let them do that to me. I'd have done this. Nigga, you wouldn't have done shit.
I said it all the time. I say I couldn't live in this. I would have been dead.
This was one of these scenarios where, for those of us who do have children who have been unjustly murdered by the hands of police officers, we have these thoughts. How would we have handled that scenario? What would we have done if we were there? This movie is about how a black man handled that scenario with his son being unjustly killed. And my man used all of his training, because this was a...
That's good.
He was in the armed forces.
Yes.
So he used what the government trained him.
Yes.
They trained him to become a weapon. So he turned that against the powers that be.
Jonathan, that is really good. You are really good at this.
That is unpacking the plot.
Back to the movie.
It was a deep scene for me in that movie when the Hispanic cop, when they were talking back and forth. And
I didn't know what they were saying. I was trying to get
subtitles.
Yeah.
The cop was saying to the gangbanger dude, "How you calling me a sellout where you actually you're shooting our people?"
What I loved about it is that I didn't look at the subtitles. What I loved about it is not knowing exactly what they were saying, but knowing exactly what they were saying.
Yeah. I have a segment on my show whether I call it love, hate, or debate. Love, hate, or debate.
Loved it. And you know what I loved about it? I did love how they brought the prisoners out.
Now wait a minute, okay. So they had a kangaroo court.
Okay, what's kangaroo court?
Kangaroo court is okay. You're
But wait, why'd you call it kangaroo though?
Kangaroo court.
I've never heard of that.
Really? Kangaroo court, an unofficial court held by a group of people in order to try someone regarded, especially without good evidence,
You so smart.
as guilty of a crime or
You
misdemeanor.
are so smart.
They conducted a kangaroo court there and then.
Did you hear me though when I said you so smart? Like, okay, I've never heard of that. I'm impressed.
Like when I Googled it, like I Googled kangaroo
You
court,
weren't supposed to show that you Googled it.
that literally came up. They conducted a kangaroo court there and then, and that's literally what happens in the movie. They have a kangaroo court. They like, no, we gonna do this right now.
And half of the jurors was prisoners.
Yeah, prisoners and people that was just in there. They was pretty much like lock the doors.
Shut
Ain't
everything
nobody
down.
going nowhere. We gonna present
Shut
all the
everything down.
evidence for what it is, and we gonna do this right now.
But we gotta get back to what we're saying. Back to the movie. Okay, we should end this. What I love about the name American Skin, when you first look at American Skin, you be like, oh, American Skin. But I love the way Jordan at the end kind of broke it down. It's about our American skin. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was tired of seeing black babies being killed by white police officers. Tired of seeing parents have to do anything necessary, right? To like get back at it. Like what Link did in the movie. He was like, I'm just tired of it. And it's just because of our American skin. I love the way he said that. We're black people and we want to be acknowledged. But real talk, it's our American skin.
That's it.
No, fuck that. And we out.